You're so silly. Hi. Sorry. Hi, everybody. Sorry, we're old.
Here we go.
Yes.
Who's old? You're the old one.
I'm not old. Anyway.
What's up, IG? What's up, Facebook? This is the first time we went live on
yes.
Facebook.
This is our first time going live on Facebook.
Yeah.
Hey, Facebook family. Our Instagram family has already seen us before.
Yeah. We've been taking over TikTok, so we had to show love because y'all go crazy on Facebook.
Y'all do.
Y'all go
all
crazy.
70,000 of y'all.
Exactly.
You so
we hit 70K, y'all. That's a big congratulations.
So we're gonna let a few people come in. But I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the topic for today is called role play. You can tell them about the video because you're the one that told me.
Got you. Well, first off, I do want to say thank y'all for joining our first BAE Watch Live. We're going to be doing this every Sunday. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, these are the only two platforms that we're running it on for now. And we'll drop it on our YouTube later. But if you want to see it live, these are the two mediums.
And have some input.
Yes, for sure. So to get into it, we call it role play because it sparked a great conversation when we were at dinner. But the video that sparked it was one that we just saw randomly. It was pretty much this girl getting interviewed, and they asked her, as a successful Black independent woman, would you date a broke person? Or, they use the word, the broke in. And we're
allowed to say it.
So she pretty much said a lot of things, but the answer was no. And her position was, you come to the plate, or you come to the table and you already show me that you can't provide. It's a big red flag. So I have every right to reserve myself of being, what was the S word? Submissive.
Yeah.
So, she was like, I can't trust you to leave because you don't even come to the first date, offering at least to pay for the dinner.
Right.
So that was the whole conversation that started this snowball into the topic role play.
So my take on the whole situation. So essentially the story goes like, one of the examples that the girl gave about role play is kind of like the man paying for the meal on the first date. Where I differ is I am somebody, and I am an unpopular opinion kind of person. So my particular take on it had to do with equality. And I feel like a lot of times, especially as Black women, we come to the table independent, knowing what we want, with our check boxes, with our list, with our deal breakers and all of those things. And sometimes when we come to the table with everything that we already want established and all of these things, it comes across, to guys like, okay, well, she already knows what she wants. She has this figured out, that figured out. And we never stop and take into consideration the man's point of view, how he wants things, if he has a list, if he has deal breakers, if he has all these checkpoints. And in that, we come to it with the roles. Okay, well, you're supposed to take out the trash. You're supposed to pay for the meal. You're supposed to open the door. You're supposed to do this. Yes, that is correct. A man should want to do those things. But as a woman, we need to be able to be ready to do what satisfies him as well. And then we got on the topic of the whole happy wife, happy life thing. And I don't necessarily, in the beginning of our marriage, I was beating that topic and that sentence over his head. Happy wife, happy life, you need to please me, and da-da-da-da. And I realized that during the pandemic, I had seen a shift in men, especially in their mental health. Like they were being more expressive with their feelings because men, especially Black men, are used to being providers. And when you are providing for so long and then the whole world kind of shuts down, it's like, how do I provide? So we were having, I can't speak for every marriage, but us specifically, we had to work together differently, and it required us to dig deep emotionally. Like it was a lot to try to analyze life, but then having him, you know, break down and really share his emotions, it was a lot, because I'm like, you're the man, like you're the strong one. And I realized we had to switch roles at times. And a lot of times, you know, women are not willing, especially Black women. I can't speak for any other race besides my own. But we're raised to be we're raised to be independent. We're raised to be strong. We're raised to, you know, just in case, have your little stash on the side. And I'm not saying all of those things are bad, but sometimes it hinders the roles that we play. So yeah, I had to shift a lot of the things, because one of the main things that I can honestly say that really triggered me was when he was giving our kids baths. I was like, that's a woman's job. Like, why are you giving my child a bath?
It didn't matter. They needed to go to bed. I don't care. Hold your arm up and let me watch this real quick.
But that used to bother me so bad, because I'm like, that's my role. And I felt like an insignificant mom and wife, because my husband was giving my kids baths, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. But then it goes back to several things. It goes back to my trauma from, you know, dealing with sexuality and men and women, or men and little kids, and all of those things, and things that have happened to me, you know, with rape and all that in the past. It's like, that's a little touchy for me. It's a little weird, you know, when you have a man and kids, even if it's his own kids. You know, we all just have that systematic mentality that a man and a child should not be in the same vicinity. You know, some of us do. And because of that, it just makes things really weird sometimes. But I had to really talk to him about that and be like, you know, I understand you want to do this, but this is where I'm coming from about it. And he's like, you know, we're so different because we've seen different sides of the world. So he grew up in a 2-parent household with a sibling, and I grew up with my mom. Like, not to belittle that, but it was just me and my mom.
Polar opposite.
And, you know, she was a strong, independent Black woman. She worked, she went to school, she was in church, and I was with her. Like, we just had that system going. And then to meet somebody who was polar opposite, it was just like, okay, so these are the roles that I played in the house. I know how to cook. I was cleaning, washed my own clothes at 10 years old. And he's like, okay, so my mom cooked. My mom washed the clothes. My mom did the cleaning. Like, that's a woman's job. And then it was like, okay, I don't mind doing that, but then you're expecting this of me, so what are you supposed to do? Like, you're supposed to do a role too. And I just feel like sometimes we just put so much pressure on roles and what the men are supposed to do and what the woman is supposed to do. And that's why so many of us, you know, stayed single or are single, because we have all these high expectations for roles. And it's like, but why?
And
like, it just has to get done.
It does. And that's why communication is huge. Like, early in our relationship, I was terrible. Hell, I still feel terrible at communicating things to her, but it's much better now, because the things that we argue about are so minuscule that we both forget, like, in the next 10 minutes. But to get back to the point, like, communication is key, because y'all both can help each other understand your expectations up front of the roles that you're okay and you're willing to play, and what you're not. And over time, y'all may start to blend roles, because you see that, you know, oh, that is something that I could possibly do. Or let me step in to help my wife in this area, even though cooking isn't my thing. And it's definitely not mine, but it's the effort that counts. At least give me that.
You can make the eggs.
I'll make eggs. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll cook the cereal and the oatmeal. There you go. But you know, we can all place expectations on our spouse without even communicating to them, you know, that this is what I'm looking for. So for us, like, roles in this house, they're defined in our strengths and weaknesses, but we both also pick up the pieces in areas. Like, you see something around the house, pick it up, type of mentality. And
it took a long time for us to get here. So for those of y'all who are new to the Alphins, we have known each other since we were 14 years old. We have done life together in this short amount of time. We have dated, we have broke up, we're married, we have children, we've almost died together. Like,
can't skip over that.
We've gone through so much. So it took us a lot of time, and conveniently, so much of the things that we have done, the lessons that we learned when we were dating. So by the time we got married, we were just at that point dealing with God.
Yeah, it was just like coasting at that point.
Yeah, and I think it's so difficult sometimes to like minister to people or talk to people about marriage because it's like we didn't really go through the same things, because a lot of people date, then they move in together, then they get married. Yeah. We dated, we had a kid, we moved in, we got married.
We moved in with
college.
Each other.
Yeah,
in
college we were like dang near living together.
Yeah, her dorm or mine.
Yeah, but we moved in together first and then kind of hashed out all of our stuff like within 8 months time. Like we literally lived 20 years worth of a marriage in 8 months. We hashed out the washcloth. Y'all gotta go to our YouTube and watch the video. We had to talk about the washcloth situation. Like we had to talk about the toilet seat being up. We went through all those little nitty pitty put the forks back this way. Like we went through all of that while we were dating. So by the time we got married, it was just like, okay, so you finna go to work or I'm finna go to work. You finna stay with the kid or I'm finna stay with the kid. And to be completely transparent, when we had our son, it was really rough for me. And me and my son, or our son, still are trying to build our relationship, so to speak, even though he's 7, because he was a stay-at-home dad.
Yep.
He stayed with him his first year of life while I went to work, and that made me uncomfortable because I'm like, that's a woman's role. And at that point, after we got married, I had to take time to really process how important roles were, period. Because in our marriage, there was no room for roles. There was no room for ego. There was no room for, this is my process and this is your process. And we just had to find a way to flow together because we come from so different. We're so different. And it's like we can't even find a middle ground because we're so different. Yeah. I'm used to doing everything by myself. And literally everything, and he's used to seeing the roles split, and I'm not used to seeing the roles split. It was my mom. If she didn't do it, I did it. But we were 2 women. The trash got taken out by my mom, the meals got made by my mom, the dishes got cleaned by my mom, the clothes got washed by my mom. In his home, it was okay, the trash got taken out by dad, the lawn got mowed by dad, the mom cooked, mom cleaned, and then dad cleaned sometimes. It was that dynamic. And for me, I didn't get to see that. Even growing up with my grandparents had their roles, but they kind of didn't make the role so apparent. Both of them cooked, both of them cleaned, both of them watched the grandkids. So everything was kind of split. So I never got to see the man does this. Yeah. The man provides. I'm used to providing. And it became, a thing like, okay, well, he's allowed to be a stay-at-home dad. He got extremely close to our son. So if you see us with our kids, you know who stayed home with what child. So he went to work when we had our daughter and I stayed home with her. So that's why we have a connection and we're close and haven't. It's been almost 4 years, y'all.
I told her while she was pregnant, I was like, you do understand, you ain't about to be going to no 9-to-5 job. No. Look, I could not have you. This is my first time. This is the first girl in our family in years. So it was like everything to me that you had that experience with her, like I had my experience with Chaden, because y'all had to iron that out first before I came into the mixture. But I didn't care. I really don't care about roles.
Yeah, it was. And we want to take y'all's opinion as well, like how you feel about roles, and we're going to look at the comments and scroll back up. But I think that is really important because I have so many people that message, they message us, but I'm the main one that replies. So when you send us a DM, it comes to me. I'm the one that talks to y'all. But we get so many questions on, how do you guys do this? How did you get over this? How did you get over cheating? How did you do this? And everything takes time. But I think that, and so many women talk to me about how they are dealing with the singleness and how I dealt with that and how can I give them advice on how to find somebody. And I was like, let me just be really honest with y'all. I think that the whole us having lists and all of that hinders us because sometimes, and I was explaining this to him yesterday during dinner, I'm like, Black women, we have a list. You have to be educated. You have to do this. You have to do that. We don't need no drama. We don't need no this. And although those lists are amazing, the problem with that is sometimes if the man messes up on one of those this is a deal breaker list, we're quick to write them off. Period.
Britnee,
we don't ask no questions. Oh, my list was bad. I had a list of do's, don'ts, deal breakers, exceptions, and my exceptions list was like this big.
No, I don't know how I'm here. You can say that as both platforms. I don't know how I made her cut because I broke every rule on her list.
I had a list, but then I realized that my list was so strict, like there was no human alive that could really be a part of that list. And that's why I found myself going into every relationship being frustrated, because it's like you have this deal breaker list that's like, he can do this, he can be this perfect guy, but if he's a mama's boy, I'm not with it. He doesn't clean, I'm not with it. He leaves the toilet seat up, I'm not with it. He doesn't believe in grooming, I'm not with it.
Crazy.
And it's like, okay, but that may have been your husband, and it's not that he's breaking those things on purpose. It's just because somebody like you, his wife, needs to show him the way. This man will sleep until 2 o'clock in the afternoon if I let him. He will. But it took me taking time to assess his weaknesses and be like, okay, so you missed it in 15 areas. We gonna work on the first 1 to 2 for the next 2 years. Y'all pray for me. We're still working on numbers 1 and 2 out of 15, and we're gonna work our way through those things. And it's not me being controlling. It's not me, telling you what to do like a mom. It's me saying, you know what, I am your partner, I am your wife, and I need you to make sure that you are the best version of yourself, because we have kids, you have people looking at you, whether we're influencers, whatever. There are people that are looking at you. Your 6, 7 people are looking at you.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you are a representation of God first, and then your family second. And if you cannot meet those goals because you're so busy being stubborn and not trying to understand that we are a team, if you look bad, I look bad, then we're gonna have to reassess this marriage.
I have to chime in right here. That is so 100%, because I feel a lot of fellas, if any male are watching this, because most of our audience are women, but for my fellas that's watching, understand, especially when it comes to black women, they love very hard, and they have seen what good representations of men look like. So it may come off nagging to you, but that's just that polar opposite thing, just like a magnet, like north and south poles. Like, y'all are gonna butt heads sometimes, but at the end of the day, y'all are attracted to each other, and all she means is well for you.
Right.
So change your perspective and your mentality of, oh, she's nagging me, to let me try to hear her, and not just hear her and listen to her just so I can get on to the next thing, but actually comprehend and understand and apply. You feel me? Like, if she's telling you, why don't you just start waking up at this time and doing what you're doing rather than waiting later, you know what I'm saying? Like, little examples like that, and you start applying what she's saying. Notice how y'all relationship changed. Notice how you as a person, your character changes, because she's built and she's giving you advice on how to be a better person, a better individual, not only for her, but for yourself. So a lot of us black men, we see it as, oh, she nagging, let me go to the next female. And you find that same characteristic, this silver lining of annoyance in all of these females. And really it's just you not changing your perspective to see that each one of these women that you've been dealing with have been trying to help you. And for some reason, Britnee was just able to resonate that with me. And she's always been home. Like, she knows how to talk right into my soul. Yeah, she may show dimples to y'all, but listen, all I see is fire coming out her mouth. That's
that tourist, man. I can't help it.
But hey, listen, I am not the same person. I'm not. I may dress like how I used to dress, but coming out of my head and coming out of my mouth, like, you're gonna hear the development. It's not all her. It's me now coming out, and she's brought out the best in me, and that's what you wanna strive for in your marriage. And like, man, this can be like so many topics right now.
Expectations or ours. We have our spouse to meet.
Oh,
unknown to them. I'm sorry, I'm reading y'all's comments as you're typing them. Y'all are so sweet.
So now for the people that missed it, we are talking about roles that we play as men and women in marriages, relationships, and just our TED talk on it.
Sorry.
Oh, you good.
So I'm reading a comment that it was in reference to the expectations about the list and for your spouse to meet. I think it was a 2-part comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the unexpected surprises that you love about each other, I think when it comes to list, I don't want to say get rid of them, because sometimes when we have lists, whether they are your expectations, your deal breakers, or whatever have you, sometimes those things are made out of protection. Now, I know when I created my list specifically, like these are my deal breakers, these are my expectations and all of that, I created that list because I had been heartbroken. Everybody in the world has been heartbroken. However, when we create those defensive lists, because that's what they are, they're lists for defense and lists for protection. They are not lists that are, you know, things that are conducive for what we need to further our growth in a relationship. They're more to protect ourselves, which is fine, but understand the place that it's coming from. It's coming from a place of defense based on your past. So I realized that, and it made me have to tear up my list, because I realized that a lot of me moving forward into a new relationship with a new person was hindered because I made a list based on what this ex did to me, what that ex did to me, these expectations that, you know, I have based on what he didn't do. But he is not going to be like him. They're two different people. So when you create a list, you know, whether it's something for your deal breaker list or what you expect in your spouse, your partner, or whatever, I think that it's very important that you create a list based on what you desire, not based on what happened to you in your past, not based on what the man or woman did in your past, but strictly based on how you plan to live your future and move forward. Like, I can't create a list now, you know, based on anything. And please understand this, your needs will change, your desires will change. What I desired, and I think, let me comment on that, your desires will change. So what the man got with you originally for in the beginning is going to change. What he got with you for in the beginning will change. So if he got with you because you were this, you were that, you were a size 2, and then you had his 2 kids and now you're a size 22, baby, you're gonna have to love me through all the 20s. You're gonna have to accept that, because how you got me and how I ended up is not my problem. Yeah. You're just gonna have to love me in between all of that. But I think that we also have to extend grace to one another, because who we are when we first enter one another's lives is not who we end up being. And to tie that back into the roles, that means that sometimes your roles have to switch. So there is a season for everything. Sometimes your season, wives will be, or girlfriends will be, to take out the trash. Sometimes it just be a season. You ain't never taking out no trash. I'll make sure Taylor's take it out if I'm gone. And he's not saying that because he doesn't want me to take out the trash because I'm a woman. He doesn't want me to take out the trash because he doesn't want nobody to see me. That's the problem. Why you could have just left it at what it was. No. I have to let them know. What you do with that other day? No. My husband is extremely territorial, y'all. I can't even go check the mail. It's not territorial. It's just, if I'm capable and I'm able like I am, I'm taking it out. Anyway. So give them another example. Anyway, so everything in marriage, relationships is seasonal. Like, things will change, love will change. We gotta do a whole situation on love, because a lot of y'all are like, did you love each other? Is it still there? And no. But for me it is. I am. It's switched. I'm so obsessed with this female, she'll just catch me staring at her sometimes. I'll be like, damn, I thought she was asleep, or I'll just be staring at her. And it's just weird because in the beginning, like, if you knew us in the beginning, I was the one that was obsessed and so in love. And then it shifted. There was a season like, all right, bro, like, stop touching me. Ready to cut me off. Stop kissing me. Stop looking at me. Leave me alone. And we're married. And that's his love language, which makes it even more difficult, because love is not the basis of why you get with somebody. It's not. It is not the basis. It's just one ingredient. It is. For the whole thing. It's not even the salt in the relationship. It's probably the paprika smoked if the love is good. Like, it's literally optional. You don't have to love me to be my spouse. That is not a requirement. It is beautiful, but it's not a requirement. Smoked paprika always gonna help. It's not. I put smoked paprika in everything I eat. It's always gonna add a little sazon, like something. But it's not required. And y'all have to stop basing your relationships off of love alone, because love is an emotion, is a temporary feeling. We feel so many emotions literally all day. That's just one of them. Tegan's laughing. I'm so serious. Y'all, love is so temporary. temporary. Oh my gosh. You literally have to find something else.
Yeah.
You have to dig deeper into the chemistry. You have to dig deeper into, you know, why you guys got together, what glued you together, and that has to be the thing that keeps you going. It has to.
What's y'all goal?
Right. Marriage is a business. You have to figure out, okay, so this is the transaction. The transaction is marriage. Okay, we decided that we were going to make this a thing.
Yeah.
We got into business together. We formed a union.
What's our mission?
That's why. If I could turn the cameras, which I'm not going to, we literally have our marriage license on the wall. I don't play about that. It's hung up to remind us that we are in a combo union. That's okay. We're in a union, okay? We are a team and we have to make this work. And in order for us to do that, we have to be reminded of why we did this. Why do we say yes? Why do we continue to try every day? Every single day I get out of bed, I have to remind myself, I signed up to be a wife. Every day he gets out of bed, he has to remind himself, I signed up to be a husband. How can I outdo my spouse for today?
Yeah.
And it's not getting them things, it's not out loving them, it's just doing your part to make life sweeter for the both of you. If that means I gotta get up and make breakfast, I'm gonna get up and make breakfast. If that means that he has to get up and go make sure that our kids get ready for school and they get their teeth brushed and all of that so they can be at the table when the food is hot and ready, that's fine. But you have to figure out how to make your roles work for each other and with each other.
Yeah.
Because marriage is not easy. I think working for the government is probably easier than marriage.
I can name a lot of things.
Marriage is really hard, and it's not to say that there are not joyful moments, but you literally have to figure out how to make your roles work for you. And if you are like us and roles don't matter, or they're not something that is the primary focus in your union, then you need to really find something that keeps you guys on a schedule, on a system, because those are going to be the things that really pioneer and move your marriage forward. Like when it starts to feel dry, okay, well, how can we switch things up?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give the kids a bath this time, you do this. Like little things, role play. That's why this is called role play. Everything's about switching position.
Dynamic.
You know, if you're not hitting the G spot this way, then you gotta flip. I'm just giving an example.
Wow.
We're all adults.
Wow.
You gotta find a new way to get that G spot. I'm just saying, if you keep going this way and it's not working, you gotta switch.
You're using the finger.
I'm just saying.
Jesus.
Saying. If the sex ain't good standing up, lay down. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, we don't have no issue.
Oh my gosh. Jesus, be a good. If y'all would like to adopt my husband, he is free. Lord in heaven. But anyways, yeah. I love that y'all message us and ask us about advice and stuff, but I don't really, I be like, coming from the Lord, I don't know what to tell you.
And it's like, I feel like we have to say this
day by day.
every time we get on live. Please don't hope and wish and pray to God for a relationship like ours.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute on Facebook and TikTok. Y'all laugh, and I appreciate all of that love. But understand, for us to get here, it took years.
Mm-hmm.
There were specific things that we had to go through that we did not ask God for.
Nope.
But it had to happen in order for us to be in this position. There's things that we're doing now that we don't know that we're doing that has to happen in order for us to be where we're going to be in 2030. So understand. Watch what you pray for, and pray for something that caters to you and not that's been given to someone else. God may not want this exact thing for you. Right. So pray in your position and not someone else's. Right.
I think that's the best piece of advice. Because so many of y'all say, oh, I want what y'all have. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Don't say that.
Just ghetto. And we don't want to paint the picture because we're very open and honest people about our marriage. We're very open and honest people about our lives and all of that. You know, our marriage is exactly what y'all see. This is our life. Yeah. We don't sugarcoat. We're not one of those couples that like to sell you an idea on social media and then we're living completely different lives. There are people on both Instagram and Facebook that know us personally, that have known us since high school, that can vouch for that. Yeah. What you see is what you get from Britnee and Dorian. We don't know how to be anybody but ourselves. Yeah. If you see us anywhere around Atlanta, you're going to, this is just our dynamic.
You see the other one, you're going to see the other one.
This is just how we are. But how we got to be so fluid in who we are individually and as a couple, it took years, it took time, it took prayer, it took weed, it took wine. It took a lot of, you know, push and pull. It took a lot of things, and we literally just had to come to grips with the fact and the idea that, you know, we have a bigger purpose. And just to be very transparent, we had no idea that we were going to be in this situation, in this circumstance, where we were going to be using our marriage to share with people. Many people. Imagine having a platform. We have over 6 figures worth of followers on TikTok. We have 70,000 followers on Facebook, and Instagram I don't even keep track of anymore. We have K next to there. All of these different people that funnel through are here.
We wasn't even trying to do this
at all.
Like,
we have international
businesses.
Right? We have international followers that are telling us how much our story is helping them. So sometimes you feel like you're in the trenches of your relationship and you don't understand why, and God is using that moment to really condition y'all and groom y'all and grow y'all to be able to help other people. And again, we did not expect any of this.
It's very important to us now.
It is.
With all of the love that we've received, it would be very immature of us to not share how we've gotten here, what we're experiencing now, so we can be completely transparent with y'all and to just share our journey. It would be ignorant of us to just be selfish like that. So giving back like this information, giving of our time and serving, that's really deep within us to serve. And we really didn't have this opportunity because of the way that social media is. You have to be this type of person and that type of person, and we were trying to work and operate by serving within our businesses that weren't flourishing as much as we wanted to. So we've just been kind of spinning the wheels, and things have taken off with you guys. And I'm grateful. I really am.
Somebody said, you hope you run into us one day. Child, we crazy.
Yeah, we ran into, I wish we got her name. We ran into somebody the other day at Kroger. Shout out to you if you on here.
Yes.
But listen, we not like no celebrities out here. We are regular, everyday people that you'll probably run into.
So many times.
So,
and I promise you, y'all are going to be more excited to see our children, because our son he thinks that he is the celebrity. Like
that's right.
He really thinks that all of y'all show up to look at him. And I'm like, boy, you don't even like being in front of the camera. Like, they don't.
He said, oh, they know us from that video. I'm like, son, we posted one video, introduction video with y'all. This boy was like, we famous.
Yeah, so he's very excited. I
was like, bro, you got 123 views.
Like,
keep working, young man.
Yeah, but we are very appreciative of you guys and all of that. Oh, somebody said we're a fun couple. Oh, thank you. It took me a really long time to be fun. I will say that from TikTok was the reason that I have come out of my shell. If you know me, for real, I am a recluse. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want people to see my face. And now I don't have a choice, because y'all have made it very clear that you like seeing my dimples, so I have to show up every day.
Y'all can just look. Just make sure y'all just look.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna look at some of these comments. Oh, listen, if you come into Atlanta, good luck. There's traffic everywhere for no good reason.
Atlanta's full.
Okay, now I'm gonna scroll over here because I answered all of those. Thank you guys so much for joining. Oh, I read that one already.
We're gonna have to start adding people in, asking questions like duets.
Yes.
This is the first one. This is the first Baywatch that we've done. So if you're new, y'all will see us again next Sunday. Tell Bay and them, tune in.
Yes.
We dropping nuggets on here, and I want to hear from some of my fellas.
Yes. How y'all feel about marriage?
A lot of estrogen energy on these pages.
Don't do that. Okay, let me scroll back down. Great. So we are going to go ahead and end this now. We so appreciate you guys for coming on and being a part of our madness. Yes.
If you missed this, like if you hopped in late, we will be updating this. I mean, dropping this on YouTube. I'll probably get that up in the next day or two. And yeah, we got a lot of content coming, guys. We're trying to stay consistent with y'all because y'all have requested a lot.
Yes.
So we're trying to make this a thing with y'all and just all grow together.
Yes.
So yeah, go check the recap on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 10K on the road to 10K on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good if you're good.
I'm great.
I know you're great.
Thank y'all so much.
Baby, I'm sorry.
Y'all see what I deal with? I can't even open my mouth. This man doing too much.
Girl, them dimples be like. Cool.
I'm stressed. Anyways, thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all for showing up and showing us love. And we will see you
next Sunday.
10 p.m.
Y'all have a good week.
Bye.